All right, tonight we're going to work on this orange here in front of the bag. So we'll work on the orange and then we'll put the leaves on top, or we will paint the leaves. So I have here cadmium red light, cadmium yellow light, ultramarine violet, and white. So we'll start with the cadmium. I'm just adjusting the camera a bit. Okay, let's start. Cadmium red light. I'm using flat brush, small one. See? And it's this flat brush. It's flat or bright. Okay. And what I'm going to do is take ultramarine violet, put it in here, in the cadmium red light, part of it, not all of it. Okay. To do the part where it's dark. So we're going to paint this part here. And of course, it's not going to happen the first layer. We're working on dark. We'll do another layer. Now I'm working around the leaf, but you can just go over the leaf if you like and put it on later. So I think at this point I'm going to start adding a little bit of cadmium red light. I did not clean my brush, so I have whatever I have on my brush. It's still there. I'm adding cadmium red light with cadmium yellow light, and I'll tell you why I didn't clean my brush, because I like the fact that I have a bit of purple on this brush. So the red that I'm adding right now, I'm creating an orange. It's not too bright. The ultramarine violet will tone it down a bit. It's going to look messy right now, but that's okay. We will put another layer. Now you can see underneath this leaf, there is a shadow from the leaf on the orange. I am bypassing this. I'm putting just a highlight. We will glaze the shadow on later. Good.
Lana, are you putting the dark color all over the tangerine and then adding light?
No,
or?
I did the dark color where the dark color is, and then I added the orange on the other side, because the base that we are working on is dark already, so there's no need.
Okay.
I was thinking of doing this. I was thinking of extending the dark color all over and then putting the highlight on top, but we are working on dark anyway, so there's no need. We're good. Right? I'm going to pause for a minute because I need this to dry. All right, first layer is dry. Let's try second layer. You see, when you look at the reference, you will see that if the reference is next to you, you will see that the this part is not solid dark. It has some kind of different spots in there where you have light, dark, different values in here. So we will do this later on, but for now we're just putting the surface kind of. Let's put some orange in here too, a little bit of orange in this. So red, ultramarine violet, and a bit of orange. Yeah, good. This is a good one here.
So using orange or
no, I'm not orange. I mean
light.
Yellow light. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yellow light. Yellow light. Using a round brush now. I'm going to add a tiny bit more of the ultramarine violet because, you know, when we go down, when we start going down in that, on that orange, it gets darker here. Now let's take again cadmium yellow light and put yellow in it so we can get a nice medium tone of orange.
You still have the ultramarine violet, right?
Well, a little bit on my brush, yes. I didn't remove it. I didn't clean it. I also want this orange to be kind of a medium tone, not too orangey, okay? Because we need to add more layers. This part is the brightest part here. It has more yellow as you move to this part next to the bag. There's more yellow in the orange. Sorry, I have to move it around to get that circle. So when you're painting something like this, you want to keep in mind that you want to keep room for darkening or highlighting. I'm sorry, highlighting. All right, so it shouldn't be too light because we are going to put some detail with highlights. So whatever you do, don't put too much light. Don't go to the lightest part. So we're seeing here very light, but don't go there yet. Always think that you have, all right, look at this part right there, right here, right here. You want to think that this is your the dark main color. And then whatever you see on top as highlight or kind of texture, this comes after to create that texture. So the lighter color that you see is sitting on top of the dark to create that movement and that texture. So if we go too light, then we don't have room to add the highlights again. So we always think about the last step is going to be lighter, and you don't want to highlight too much for the first couple of steps that we're doing right now. I'm going in slowly. Darks. And I'm going to highlight over that. I'm going to take a lot of Ultramarine Violet. I'm going to let it dry a bit because it's lifting. Because the paint underneath is wet. I will pause for a minute. All right, let's add some highlights. So I mixed here orange and orange, so Cadmium Red Light and Cadmium Yellow Light together. Just gonna put a touch of Ultramarine Violet, just a little bit. And then let's go in and start with this highlight here. Using a round small brush.
Is that yellow and red?
Yes.
Only?
Yes, yellow and red. And a tiny... Yes, go ahead.
And a tiny bit of ultramarine.
Yes. So I'm adding now a little bit of yellow in that. So more of the orange. And I'm going to start putting it here. Let's put some water so it's more like a glaze. So we have a kind of, if you look at it carefully, you will see that this changes from here, a strong orange right here with more yellow in it, to a medium orange that has more red in it on this side here. And then it becomes even more red. So now I'm just doing this kind of transition slowly. And I'm going to start adding a little bit more red now. Over here. Oh wow, jeez. Okay, let's take a bit of ultramarine violet. And using a round brush helps because you can put the colors slowly without having to, it doesn't cover too much. Let's go in and put some orange in here. It's a back and forth kind of thing between orange, strong orange, red, and medium orange. So when you use a round brush, you don't have a line. You don't create a line between different values or different colors. It's easier to have a soft transition. Okay, now I'm going to do the same. I'm going to take orange and I'm going to take ultramarine, a little bit of ultramarine violet, and I'm going to highlight this part and then I'll stop so you can get there. I'm going to let this dry and then we'll continue. I'm going to stop for a minute. All right, so to put some texture on top here, I mixed light orange, so more yellow than red. And I'm just going to, what I'm doing is with a small brush, I'm just dabbing. And then I wipe. Dab. And if you find that it's too much, just with your finger, wipe it out, wipe it away a bit. Okay. So I'm going to move on to this part here and do some texture here. And then I'll work on highlighting this part. So for the back, the one in the back, before I put the highlight, before I put this light that's coming through, this right here, I'm going to do this part. And to do this part, I already have the dark, maybe a little bit more dark, but in a ultramarine violet. And what I'm going to do is make it into a glaze, so it's not thick, heavy. And then I'm going to come here. Okay.
Sorry, can you repeat that? Ultramarine violet and...
I'm trying to get some dark ultramarine violet in here. That is kind of like a glaze. Okay, it's not too thick. Okay, so just use ultramarine violet. I put a bit of red in it, very small amount of red, and I'm making it into a glaze, so it's not thick. Okay, and then with my brush, just going to take my brush round and just put this glaze on top. Actually, you know what? It worked before without the red. Should dry darker. If it doesn't dry darker, then I will add something else, because I'm using a glaze. I'll add a different kind of, but I think it works. It's working. Should be okay. Yes, just giving me that kind of darker texture in here, darker color value. If you find that using water with your ultramarine violet is not giving you that dark color that you want, dark value, don't put water, too much water, because ultramarine violet is already transparent. So we don't need to put too much water in there. All right, that's good. Now, I'm going to take orange. I'm going to mix orange.
Is it ultramarine violet in that?
In the orange I'm mixing right now?
Yeah.
I will be putting a bit of ultramarine violet in it, yes, because I need to darken it, so it has to be a darker orange. Yes. Yes, there is ultramarine violet in it.
Okay.
Test it. If you find that it's still too light, add more ultramarine violet and red. The orange might be a little bit too strong. Maybe adding yellow might turn it into a too strong of a orange, okay? So you might need to go to red and purple. Yes, that's working now. Red and purple.
Are we doing this throughout?
Just where the dark part is. Not, what do you mean throughout? Throughout the whole thing?
Just where the dark is?
Yes, just where the dark is. I'm just adding a bit of highlights in the reds and ultramarine violet, red and ultramarine violet, to create a textured surface. So it's not smooth. If I find that after I'm done with this, texture thing, if I find that I lost the darks, that's okay. I can glaze it with ultramarine violet again on top. Sometimes to get the good texture kind of, a look of a really good texture, what you need to do is a couple of layers of back and forth between dark and orange. Overlap them and it will look good. The more layers you put, the nicer it looks. Because it's not going to happen from the first time. I'm going to let it dry and then I'll go over it with one kind of layer of soft ultramarine violet on top of this, to make it a little bit softer. I'm using red, ultramarine violet, darkening my red, and I'm going to come here and put soften this, make it more uniform, kind of, not uniform, but not as spotty. So it's a little bit of spots in here. Too much. Because, you know, because it's acrylic, it dries darker and it dries harsher. It dries harsh. It doesn't dry soft. So I have to keep on adjusting. When it's dry, go back and adjust. See if you need to highlight, you need to add darks. Okay. I'm going to take white at this point, a little bit of white. Mix it with some of the orange I have here. Round brush. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to start highlighting. I'm going to take orange, red, and with a round brush, I'm just going to come here and kind of add texture in a kind of a curve. Dots. Let's add a little bit more of the yellow. And I know you see, you look at the, if you look at the orange, you will see that the texture has kind of a movement, but we don't really have to exactly follow it. It creates a shape, but we only have to just kind of add this kind of highlighted texture in here with a round brush. And over, I'm going to take red right now Just put some red in here as well. Strong red. Just red. And over around this little thing here, this shadow. Let's take Ultramarine Violet with red and try to soften this shadow here because it's really harsh right now, and kind of adjust. Okay. And then again, some highlights. I'm going to start with highlighting more with a yellowish orange. So more yellow in my orange. Trying to keep my paint wet.
This is fun.
You like it?
Yeah.
It is fun. Takes time, but it's fun, yes. I'm just adjusting the amount of red. So I went too far with the red, with the orange, I'm sorry, with the orange. And I'm just putting a bit more red in here now. Now, I'll switch to a smaller brush because I'm going to use white. Not only white by itself, I'm going to take white, some yellow, a little bit of orange, and I'm going to come here and try to follow as much as I can the actual pattern of this highlight. As much as I can. It doesn't have to be exactly the same.
You're using yellow?
Yes, there's yellow in here, absolutely, in this red. Yes. In this white. Yellow, white, and a little bit of that orange I have here. And I'm trying to make it more like a glaze as much as I can. Also, if it doesn't work out, if it's, like the yellow that you're putting is white and yellow that you're putting is not enough, or is it too light, or is it's too white. It's okay. Put it on and then glaze. Put on the pattern, the highlight, and then if it needs to be yellower, you can glaze it on after. Also, the intensity of the light. So the intensity of this highlight is different. It's a lot more whiter in the center and more yellow outside. Okay, so it's not the same everywhere. It's not the same value everywhere. It's whiter in the center and yellower on the edge outside. So the texture is bigger in the center. The brushstroke is bigger, more condensed, and outside, which is around here, is smaller and more yellow. If you put the whole thing the same value, it won't look like it will not look like a strong light on it. So you need to make it stronger in the center where the light is hitting, and then softer around. Softer in meaning it has more yellow, and also the dots are smaller. Yellow or orange, doesn't matter, one of them. All right, that's good. I'm going to stop recording. All right, so we're done for this week. Next week we'll finish working on the leaves, and then we have the table.